Two dudes, one VHS. Rewind the time, no need to guess. Pop it in, press play, don't stress. It's a movie night, pure retro mess. Old tapes, big last memories flash. We're kicking it back when classics last. So grab some snacks and don't you fret. Two dudes, one VHS.
Hey everybody, Alex here.
Roma.
We are back again with another movie rewatch. This time, as you should know, if you're watching our pre-watches, we're doing Groundhog Day from 1993.
Yeah.
So this is our second movie with Bill Murray, right?
Second movie with Bill Murray. Yeah. We've done a lot of movies with Ghostbuster cast. So yeah, I think this is the second one.
Now, is this our third movie with Bill Murray's brother?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Yeah, the third movie.
I think so, yeah. Okay, let's get into it. It's directed by Harold Ramis, who is Egon, obviously. It was written by Harold Ramis and Danny Rubin. I looked up Danny Rubin. I didn't care for anything I saw. So I moved on. The starring list is pretty good. Bill Murray, Andy McDowell, Chris Elliott. Where do you know Chris Elliott from?
Just from this movie.
No.
Probably other movies that I may have watched with him in it, but not that I can recall.
You're lying. What about Something About Mary?
I did watch that movie, yes.
Okay. Cabin Boy?
No. He's also the handoff scary movie, the hand guy off scary movie.
That's right. It's My Strong Hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good guy.
Like, I know I've seen him in other movies. I just can't recall him off the top of my head.
Very funny guy. Steve, okay. First, I'm going to point out, of this movie, who do you think is the biggest star?
Obviously, freaking Ghostbuster guy. Fuck, why can't I?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. I'm going to say him for sure.
Okay. So, I would have thought that too. But when I was looking up IMDb, he had 100 and something credits. Steven Tobolowsky has over 300 credits.
300?
That is, Steven Tobolowsky is Ned. Needle Nose Ned.
Yeah.
He's in a ton of movies, man.
But like, is he just backups in all of those?
No, he's a character actor. He's funny. He's goofy. He works.
Well, he does a lot of small parts in movies too. So can you really say that?
Yeah, but not an extra.
No,
but there's speaking lines in his movies. He's not a leading man. I don't know if he's ever led a movie, but he's been in many movies.
He's been a principals in a lot of movies. He's been in a janitor. He's been a police chief. Like, he's been in like all these different roles, but they're not like leading roles. They're small roles. So can you really call him a star?
He's been in 300 movies. That's more than Bill Murray's been in.
Yeah, but then there's that homeless guy. There was that one homeless guy that was in. There was that homeless guy that was in that movie that we Back to the Future. That's been like in like 1,100 different movies. So you're telling me he's a superstar? He's a bigger superstar than Michael J. Fox?
Well, no, not that way. But he's getting calls. Directors are calling him.
I guess
casting people are calling him. They're looking. Heck, some of these roles that this guy plays might have been actually made for him to play.
I guess that's true.
So you got to have some kind of star power to have the demand of that many movies.
I guess.
Sure, he's not bringing home the big figures like Bill Murray does per movie.
Right.
But still, his name's out there. I'll take 300 tiny roles where I don't have to work so hard.
I guess
over a bunch of huge ones where I'm working friggin' 18-hour days.
I guess that is true. That is true.
Willie Garson's in this. Do you know who Willie Garson is?
Willie Garson
he's the guy from Sex and the City, the bald guy with the glasses.
He was also in another show too, not just Sex and the City. I can't remember what it was. Was it Seinfeld?
I don't remember in Seinfeld.
No.
Potentially. Okay, next guy, Rick Ducommun. Now this guy you're not going to know by name. But he was in The Burbs.
No.
So in this movie, he's the goofy guy who goes for the ride with Bill Murray because he's drunk.
Yep.
He's at the bowling alley drinking with Phil, I'll say. You've never watched The Burbs?
No, I don't think I've ever watched The Burbs.
Wow. That's another one on our list that you haven't seen.
Looking at his picture, he was in Spaceballs too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. Next guy, Michael Shannon. So Fred, the guy who gets the WrestleMania ticket.
Yep.
Did you recognize him?
No, I did not.
That's Zod from the Henry Cavill movies.
Is it really? No, it's not.
Yeah, his name's Michael Shannon. You can look it up
I'm looking
now.
at him now, and I'm like, he does not look the same in this movie as he does now.
Yeah, it's funny.
Wow.
Another funny one that again, not a big role, but the chubby guy that Phil runs into in the hallway every day. So his name's Ken Hudson. He was Santa in Home Alone.
Like
So
the guy that gave him the
when
TikTok?
Kevin runs up to Santa and he's getting into his like Honda Civic
Yeah.
and he's having that smoke and it's that guy.
And he's like, you can't go away without having a candy. And he gives him like the
Yeah.
Tic Tacs or whatever. That was
That guy.
yeah.
The last one I have listed is the waitress at the diner. Her real name's Robin Duke. She was in 29 episodes of SCTV, which was filmed right here in our hometown.
Was it in Edmonton?
Yeah, SCTV was done here.
Oh, wow.
If you watch the John Candy documentary on Prime, they talk about it and how it was filmed here.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did
so
not know that.
all those greats, John Candy, Martin Short, they all filmed here for those seasons. Yeah, it's what did you think of the movie?
You know what? Like I said in the pre-watch, I probably only watched it 2 or 3 times, and then here and there on TV and stuff like that. It still lives up to the hype. It's still one of those movies that there's meaning to it, meaning behind it. There's comedy, there's romance, there's a bit of everything in the movie, right? So it's like it lives up to its hype, and it's a movie that yes can be rewatched over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Now, that being said though, there were a few times throughout the movie, excuse me, where I was thinking, God, I don't want to see Ned again. Just skip that part. But then when you saw Ned, it was great.
Yeah, but
So
again, it is one of those movies that yes, it's repetitive, but that's the point of the movie, right? Like I get it, I understand what you're saying, but that's the whole point of the movie, right? Ned is a little bit annoying, but that's the whole part of his character.
Yeah. Our actual walk through this movie will probably end up being shorter than our others, mainly because almost every scene is just a repeat of the previous scene with slight tweaks, right?
Yeah.
So we'll chat about those tweaks, but yeah, I can't foresee this being a very long episode.
No, I don't think so either. This might be a short one, guys.
Some obviously time loops are crazy, how they work. So we talk about or are going to be talking about Phil being stuck in this time loop and waking up at 6 every day. Everybody's stuck in the time loop. Phil's the only one just aware of it. Am I right or am I right?
You're right. He's the only one that's aware of it. You're right. You're right. Nobody else that he talks to.
No one's aware of it.
Is aware
but they're all like him being stuck in this time loop doesn't mean everybody else is continuing on with the next day.
But maybe they are, and he's the only one that's stuck in this time loop.
But that's the thing. So how would they move on to tomorrow without him if he's stuck in the time loop?
Again, going to Marvel's multi-universe, this could be another universe that he's in, that he's just reliving it over and over and over and over again.
Okay.
Possible.
Okay.
But again, for him to be the only one that's what I mean. Like if he's the only one that knows about this reality and nobody else does, obviously this universe is just about him. Right. So that's what I mean. So like he's reliving the moment over and over again. Nobody else is living that moment over and over again because they're somewhere else. This is just his universe.
Okay. We talked about
it's a theory.
We talked in the pre-watch about how long was he actually in there. So I went back down the rabbit hole. I looked it up again. Harold Ramis, Egon, if you will, said in an interview that when he wrote this, it was 10 years, that Phil is stuck in the town for 10 years. Now, fans, though, were like, it doesn't sound right. So they did their own calculations of like how many hours are needed to master the piano.
Right.
Which, if you look that up, professional piano players say about 10,000 hours. If you're doing about 3 hours a day, it comes out to 10 years.
Okay.
They talk about how you can shorten that 10-year span by doing 8-hour practicing every day. But we know he's not sitting at a piano for 8 hours.
No.
You had so many other things going on. So, okay, that sounds accurate. But then he also mastered ice sculpting. There are some deleted scenes which I'll bring up right away, that he mastered other things that we don't get to see. He mastered speaking French.
But languages, well, I was gonna say languages you can learn quickly, but
Yeah.
that's with
How's your French?
I took
You live in
French in high
Canada. How's
school,
your French? You've
and
had
I don't remember
like
any of it.
46 years. How you doing with that?
Yeah, yeah, this is true. But I'm just saying now with technology, you could probably learn more languages, but back then you're right. You're reading it from a English to French dictionary, right? So
Yeah. So if it takes 10 years for the piano, sure, he could sprinkle some other stuff in there, but realistically, it's got to be longer because he's doing these other things. So fans came up with 34 years.
oh, wow, 34 years.
Now, later on in life, Egon married this Buddhist woman and he got big into Buddhism, apparently. So, whenever asked at that point, he started quoting Buddhism. And one quote he would always answer was, I wrote it down here, it takes 10,000 years for a soul to evolve to its next level. So, he was implying that Buddy's been in there for like 10,000 years.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit much. 34 years I can deal with, but 10,000 years, I don't see how he would have the drive to make his life better, period.
At that point, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Now, the other thing too that I'm questioning about that too is like I get it, you're reliving each day over and over and over again. Would you age if you're living
Well,
each
no,
day?
you're resetting, right?
I guess.
Because that's the whole thing is time is going back. So you're a day older, you're a day younger. Day
Day
older,
older,
day
day
younger.
younger, day older. Yeah, I guess. Man, can you imagine 10,000 years? And even the 35 years or 34 years that they calculated. Living this, like, wouldn't somebody go insane after that?
Yeah.
Like after
Yeah.
like 5 years.
Well, we see him truly losing it
Truly
sometimes.
losing it at sometimes, but like he kept it together quite
Yeah.
well.
Well, with the exception of the whole killing himself a few times.
A few times, yes. But like, because he knew that he would come back again anyways at that point.
Right. Another interesting thing is this wasn't filmed in the town of Puxatawney because Puxatawney doesn't have a town square where they could do the party and
Right.
film the Groundhog. So they filmed this in Woodstock, Illinois. Now, apparently, if you're ever on a road trip and you ever go to Woodstock, that street where Phil steps in the pothole, on the wall behind there, they've put up a plaque that said Bill Murray stepped here.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It might be on my road trip list for next
Is the
time. I
pothole
don't-
fixed though?
Well, I'm assuming it's fixed, but it would be cool if it wasn't.
It would be cool if it wasn't.
So, okay, I mentioned some deleted scenes. I'll bring them up now. There's a scene where Phil's playing pool and
Okay.
he's sharking these guys. So he's mastered playing pool. He's doing trick shots, bank shots, everything. Not as long as it would take to probably learn the piano.
Right.
Still quite a few hours probably to learn that. He scores a perfect bowling game, strike on every throw.
How many times do you think he practiced that?
Well, how long does it take to be a good bowler? I don't know. I get
Yeah.
maybe 2 strikes when I go play a game. I'm not good enough to do it every time.
And that's
but-
5-pin bowling.
right. It also shows him in a medical library. So working on his doctor degree, if you will, he's reading x-rays on a wall. So he long enough to get his doctorate, I guess, or at least an honorary one because he actually didn't go to school. So yeah, 34 years, sure, maybe. I also read that the original ending of this movie, when they walk away, Rita is supposed to go into her own time loop in the town as well. But I guess they scrapped that idea. They didn't want to do it. The studio also wanted a reason why he's stuck in this time loop and came up with the idea of, okay, well, it's a curse by an ex-lover. So he sold them on that, but then he didn't put it in the movie. People don't need that. It's irrelevant.
I guess, yeah, that's true. It is irrelevant.
What he did have to change, though, was they started the movie with them going to Puxatawney. They added the whole, he's a weatherman in the beginning in front of the blue screen. He sat down with that news anchor, chatted a little bit.
Yeah.
That was all filmed after the end of the movie. They decided they needed that to show a little bit of who he was before he got to the
Before
town.
he got stuck in the loop.
Which, okay, makes sense. It showed us that he's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
But okay, let's jump into the first scene. The first scene is that one. He's doing his Spider-Man thing. The news anchor is saying, "Have
Yep.
fun at Puxatawny." She's clearly,
Yeah.
like making fun of him. Then we get to see the van. A nice shot. Very "Who's the boss?" where we see
Who's the
Tony's
boss?
van driving to Connecticut. So we
Yeah.
follow this van the whole frickin' way all the way to Puxatawny. And we get this feeling, at least I did, how that Larry doesn't like Phil.
Obviously. That's
Larry's
an
always he's always throwing these jabs at Phil.
Yeah.
But Phil does it back too. He's a dink. And then, he goes to his Airbnb because he's too good to stay at the hotel. And all right, we're in the morning now. The clock
Yep.
strikes 6. We hear Sonny and Cher playing on the radio. But little did we know this was going to be the moment that we're going to see 40 more times.
Yeah. Yeah. It did that song, watching this movie, I honestly would mute it after like the first 4 times. I'm like, I can't hear this song again. I really can't hear this song again.
He wakes up, he gets all ready, looks out the window. Now, he looks out the window and he sees people walking. We see later on, he looks out the window again. It's one of those movie parts that don't make sense to me.
Okay, explain.
Okay. Well, okay. So the next day he realizes something's up, like deja vu. And he looks out the window and he sees the people. Now, are you telling me that when he looked out the window the day previous for the 10 seconds, he memorized everybody and their locations and the vehicles and what they were wearing?
I wouldn't say after the first day, but he did.
But this was the second day.
I know, but
he looked out at it and he was like, what the hell? Like, he visually acknowledged that it's the same as yesterday.
I'm going to assume that he's assuming that you're right, that it's possibly that it's a whole thing, that he memorized everything, but I'm going to assume that he saw a few glimpses on day 1 and noticed the exact same things again in day 2, not the entirety of the scene, but portions that are like, what the hell? This is deja vu. What's going on? Right?
It
was implied. You're right. It was implied in that scene that he recalls everything that happened.
If I was at a hotel or an Airbnb and I looked out the window for 10 seconds today, and then I looked out it again tomorrow for 10 seconds, there's no way I would know, even if there was only one person outside, there's no way I would be like, what? That's the exact same guy in the exact same outfit in the exact same spot as yesterday.
Well, let's be honest, though. You don't remember what you had for dinner 2 hours ago.
This is true.
So let's be honest, okay?
It was
that's number 1. Number 2 is like, I'm pretty sure you would notice a few things in that 10 seconds. Now, would you put 2 and 2 together on the day 2? No. Would you put 2 and 2 together on day 3? Maybe. Day 4, for sure you're going to know.
Yeah,
by day
that's
4.
what I'm saying. Day 4, day 44, day 444.
Yeah.
Yes. But day 2, I'm...
Yeah.
I don't. It just didn't make sense to me.
You're right.
Whatever.
We also got to remember, too, he was smart enough to... Sorry, I know I'm veering off on this one whole thing. Yes, he was there for, let's say, 34 years is what the math said, but he was smart enough to master the piano, do the perfect, like, bowling, do, like, all this stuff in this time. Maybe he does have a photographic memory. What are you doing?
I'm trying to fix my camera.
To anybody that's watching this, Alex may have some technical difficulties with his video camera. It's been showing us lines lately, and we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's almost like I need to adjust the tracking.
Maybe you're on VHS.
Yeah. Okay, where were we?
Okay, we'll go on now.
Out of his room, he runs into Santa from Home Alone there.
Yep.
Brief conversation. He goes downstairs. He meets the old lady that obviously runs the Airbnb. And she's super nice, but he's just being a dick. Like,
but that's him.
That's his character. That's Bill Murray's character, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay. Yeah. All right. We get it. Phil's a dink. When's that going to change? It doesn't change for a while.
Apparently 34 years.
He's now heading down the street. He comes around the corner and there's that homeless guy and he does one of these. Like, you already know you're not giving him change. Why even fake it? Just carry on with your walk. I do it.
Yeah.
There's no way I go, sorry guys. No, I just don't look at them.
Or I say I don't have any change and then walk. Keep walking.
Yeah. Then right away, we get our first Ned encounter. Ned, I don't know. Funny character, the way he acts it out, the way he speaks. Needle Nose Ned, Ned the Head. I
Yeah.
dated your sister. Blah blah blah. And he has no idea who he is. And that's fair. But he looks out the window and he recognizes everybody on that street.
Yeah.
For 10 seconds. This guy he knew, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna drop it. So he blows off Ned, who wants to sell some life insurance. He steps in that hole that we just briefly talked about again. Okay, I'm not gonna drop it. I'm gonna bring it up again. He looks out that window for 10 seconds and he IDs everybody. But he steps in that hole for at least 4 times
4 or 5
when he
times.
tries.
Yeah.
You don't know that hole is there. Your leg gets wet every single time. But he doesn't have the mental capacity to remember, oh yeah, after I run into Ned, I step off the curb, soak my leg in this huge pothole. But
Okay. Fair.
sorry, now I'll drop it.
That's fair. That is fair analogy at that point.
I'm gonna drop it starting now.
No, you're not. You're gonna bring it back again.
Probably not. It may come up again. One thing I do like about watching old movies is looking at like the old cars.
Yes.
Now, and I know they're not old cars; they're 70s, 80s, but I like checking them out.
Those are classic cars now, right? Or vintage.
Well, yes,
Actually, vintage.
Well-
Anything over 25 is vintage, is it not?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're vintage
for-
vehicles now.
For me, it's more of they all look different for me.
Yes.
Whereas now, everybody goes for the same style of design. Sure, the headlights might be different or the taillights,
Yeah.
the stuff.
But,
But like everybody wants sleek
Yeah.
or rounded or something. I don't know.
I
I'm
like
just
the
tired
old
of new
boxy cars. The old boxy, like the way
They're
that they
cool.
looked, like the Mustangs, the Plymouths, like they were all boxy and they were built to last. Yeah, they rusted to shit because they were made out of steel, but they were built to last.
Yeah. But that was a side note. Our next very odd part of this movie is, so we're now at the big festivity. We are at Gobbler's Knob.
What a name. What a name.
Like, who? I know Harold Ramis wrote this with another guy, but which one of them said, you know what? Let's name this place Gobbler's Knob. Now, I didn't look to see if Puxatawney Town has a Gobbler's Knob. Maybe they do. Or maybe somebody just came up with it. I remember when I was a kid, you would call people knob gobblers.
Knob gobblers.
So this was just very difficult for me.
How many times did you chuckle?
Like every time I saw it,
It was-
but I was like, this is so stupid.
It's stupid. It's stupid, but every time you saw it, you chuckled. So it worked.
I did. It's just like, it's like toilet humor, you know? But whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get to finally see the groundhog. And come on, that was a cute groundhog. That was no dude in a costume.
No gorilla in a costume.
No, I'm talking about Ballsack Billy for our local groundhog.
Right.
groundhog.
Ballsack Billy. God.
So yeah, so much better groundhog. And obviously you have to know the guy who took the groundhog out, Bill Murray's brother. I mentioned it before. So it almost seems like a Bill Murray thing. Like he puts it in his contract. You got to give my brother.
You got to give my brother at least a small part in the movie. Yeah, probably.
So we find out he saw his shadow and everybody boos. There's going to be 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah.
Now, how is it that he sees his shadow? Like, what are the physics behind this? Because they open the door. The dude is standing in front of the door. So he's blocking any sun if the sun is behind him. He pulls him out and he turns him around to the crowd. So how does it work? When did he see his shadow? Did the guy turn him into his shadow, thus rigging the whole thing? I don't get it.
I don't get how this Groundhog Day stuff works for everybody. I don't understand, especially
Maybe
Ballsack
if we
Billy.
had a real groundhog, I'd understand it more, but we don't.
But even then, it's like still like it's an old wives' tale. Like, why do we still believe in this?
Well, most places believe in it because they get to play with a cute groundhog.
We don't. We get to play with the dude in the costume. You're right.
Right. I don't play with them.
From a
You
town
want to play
called
with them, you can
Ballsack.
play with them. I don't play with them.
Yeah, from a town called Ballsack on top of that.
Okay, so they attempt to leave the town because Phil has been adamant that there's no storm coming. Weather is clear. He is a weatherman, so he's got to be accurate. This blizzard that comes in is Magic Mojo blizzard keeping him stuck in the curse.
Exactly.
Okay, so he's legitimately surprised by this blizzard. He is not a bad weatherman. This is weird. So, okay, I'm fine with that. Phil obviously really hates it in the town. He they were at the bar or something, and he said he'd rather go back to his room and read some Hustler.
Yep.
I don't think you read much in Hustler,
No.
but there are some articles, I guess.
There's more. There's more. There is some articles in them, I guess. Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
true.
So, yeah. Which then, later on we see him in the bed and the clock says 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now, I noted that, is it 4 p.m. or 4 a.m.?
Well, was it?
I didn't notice the dot, when you get an AM or a
Yeah,
PM
yeah. The
dot.
AM or PM on the alarm
I
clock.
didn't
There.
notice one, so I just saw 4 and he was in bed already. So he's either crawling into bed with a Hustler at 4 p.m. or he just stopped reading the Hustler and it's
At
now 4
4
a.m.
a.m. Well, usually, if there is a dot, that means it's PM. If there is
PM,
no
right.
dot,
Yeah, I didn't see.
then there's AM. Then it's yeah. So it's probably 4 a.m.
It was weird. Yeah. So he runs into the owner in the hall. Oh, because he had the cold shower.
Yeah.
And he asks about it. And she said, well, no, there wouldn't be any hot water today. Like it's a completely normal thing.
Well, they
And
probably
he's like,
turn
well,
off the
of
hot
course not.
water on Groundhog's Day. Who
So
knows?
that means for 34 years, he's been taking cold showers only.
I didn't even put that together. Oh my God, that's right. Cold showers
No hot
every
water.
day.
So not only is he miserable by everything else, but he's also miserable because either it's cold showers every day or he's just not going to have a shower because he's clean again in the morning.
Clean again in the morning. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. He's either taking cold showers every morning thinking that it's going to change, or he's just not taking a shower at all.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So we fast forward, it's 6 a.m. again. Phil dismisses the radio. It's playing the same song. The DJs are saying the same thing. And, he says, you guys are playing yesterday's tape. And this is the moment where now he's like, what? What is going on here? And he checks the window and he's confused by everybody being out there again in the same pose and the same clothes. Okay, I'm okay. He finishes up, he heads out into the hallway and he runs into the Santa again. And he loses it on him and he pushes him up against the wall. But at this moment we see that Phil is now like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was dreaming yesterday, essentially. So he puts the guy down and carries on. He runs into the old lady again and slight conversation with her. And he asks, this is still just, or no, it was outside. He asks, it is still just once a year, right?
Yeah.
'Cause he's not so sure. What he says to the old lady is, have you ever had deja vu? And she doesn't know what it is. So she says she would check with the chef.
Right. Right. They'll check with the kitchen.
Funny joke. Small town. They don't get French. It's funny. Then he lets her know that chances of leaving tonight
Yeah.
are 80%, 75, 80%, which it was 100% the day
Right.
before. So it's going down. He's back outside again, homeless guy. Sorry, no change. Ned comes up. This encounter goes slightly different, right? Now he admits to knowing him, and we get the bing. Man, when Ned was saying bing, I started laughing because it just sounds like something obnoxious that an obnoxious person would do.
He is annoying, and he played a really good part on that.
Yeah, like, oh, you got an answer right. Bing. It was funny, but it was creepy again. And then we skip most of the day.
Yeah.
He's in the cold shower again.
Yep.
So that's how I was like, okay, he's just going to have cold showers every day, apparently. One of my favorite lines comes up when Phil's on the phone with somebody from the studio
Right.
or from the station. And he's like, what if there's no tomorrow? There wasn't one today. There never is a tomorrow, technically. It is always today.
Right.
So I don't know. I like the line. It's clever, funny, true. It's not even that the fact that he's just repeating the day. It's just true. It wasn't tomorrow because it's today.
Yeah. He's had the same day again, and it wasn't a dream because it happened again.
This is where it's 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. We already talked about that. Now it's 6 a.m. again, and that song's playing again. Today he knows something's up. He avoids the guy in the hallway. He avoids the old lady. He heads straight out. This time he pushes Ned, and he steps in the puddle again. So we're at 3 times in this puddle so far.
But yet he remembers everything from day 2. Yeah. Okay.
So this time he decides not to do the whole newscasting thing. He decides to skip it completely and he heads off to the diner. After the diner, he goes to a neurologist to get an x-ray. And we see that the neurologist is Harold Ramis, Egon. And Egon's put on a little bit of weight, which he's allowed.
Yeah.
So have I over the past 20 years.
So have I. Yes, you're right.
Or I guess no, from Ghostbusters to this, it's less than 10 years. But anyways, I have too. So still nice to see him. They actually don't get along very well.
Really?
I was listening to some commentary from Egon. He says that they had worked together by this point in 6 different films, and they didn't get along a lot. They were colleagues more than friends.
I wonder why. Did they stay?
No, he didn't. But I'm assuming Bill Murray is just a tough guy to handle sometimes.
He does look like he can be a handful. So that's true.
Okay, so now he ends his day at the bowling alley, drinking with some new friends, the 2 drunks.
Yep.
And he offers to drive them home because both of them are way too drunk to drive. While they're in this drive, he comes to the realization that he can do anything he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides to have a police chase, which was great.
That was the first scene in the movie that was different than everything else and actually was action-packed. Like, not action-packed as in, like, action movie, but it was, you didn't know it was coming when you first watched it, kind of thing, right? And again, him knowing that there's no consequences to his action made it even better.
Yeah. I love when he was like, something they always tell you not to do, driving on the train tracks.
Yep.
And then the other guy's like, that's actually one that I actually like to follow. I agree with that one. And then they're all like, some of the bouncing was over exaggerated, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Very, very funny. And then he crashes the car and he's like, let me handle this. And do you remember what he says to the cop?
No, I don't remember.
He rolls down the window and he's like, I will get 2 burgers, some fries, and then the one drunk goes, flapjacks. Is it too early for flapjacks? This is so funny.
This is when he kind of like realizes that he's just going to take full advantage the rest of the time.
Yep. And then, so basically, driving on the train tracks, he's already leaning towards the I'm suicidal.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's not a laughing matter.
No.
Let's add a disclaimer here that if you or anybody you know has thought about suicide, there are numbers that you can call for help.
Exactly. If
If you subscribe and follow us, feel free to comment. We'll chat with you if you need somebody to talk to. But okay, let's carry on. So he's arrested. They throw him in the cell, and then all of a sudden it's 6 a.m. again. He was teleported out of the jail cell into his bed for a reset, and he's ecstatic about it.
Yeah, because at this point he's like, I'm gonna just do whatever the hell I want if this is gonna reset every single day.
Now, I don't know, is this legitimately like day 4 or 5? Or has there been other days in between and we just don't know?
Well, and
So
that's
it's hard to tell.
that's the one thing with this movie is we don't know how many days it is. We don't know how far he went to get to this point.
Right. But we know he's still fairly early in it.
Right.
Like, he comes out, he answers Santa in the hallway, he speaks to the old lady, he answers her before she asks anything.
Yeah.
When he's out on the street, he slugs Ned because he knew he was coming, and he catches him himself from stepping in that hole again this time. So, yeah, we're not sure how many days it took to get to this point where he realized there's a hole full of water right there, but here we are. He has breakfast with, what's her name, Rita. Did you see his breakfast? Like, the table was like packed with donuts and stuff.
He's at that point, he's like, I can eat whatever the hell I want. I'm not going to gain a pound.
Yeah. The spot he's sitting in the diner has 2 clocks beside him. Did you notice those?
No, I didn't notice the 2 clocks.
So the 2 clocks, they appear to be set at the exact same time. Okay. Which is 11:30. They're obviously like analog clocks.
Right.
Okay. They both appear to be 11:30, but if you look closely enough, they're not. The minute hands and the hour hand are switched. So one says 11:30, the other one says like 5:55 or something.
Right.
So the hands are in the same position, but the time's way off. I don't know. Maybe somebody in set design was setting the clocks and didn't realize that they got the hands mixed up on one, and they were both supposed to be reflecting the accurate time.
Right.
Who knows?
That looks like to me that it's a mirrored time then. So they're
No, it's
mirroring
not
each other.
weird. No, not like that, because they were both going the same
Oh, so
way.
they're both going this way. Okay.
Well, at 11 and at 30.
Right.
But one had 11 as the shorthand.
Right.
The other one had 11 as the longhand.
Okay.
So they were set up to the same way, but reading different times.
Yeah, I don't notice those things like you do.
Sorry. Why are you doing this podcast then?
Because I like reviewing the movie. I don't notice these little things inside the movies.
Okay, we get another reset because, hey, that's what this movie is about. So what do you think you would be doing in this moment? Like this far in?
Well, you're not going to be able to advance and get money for yourself for the future because the day's just resetting. So like
Right.
I know he does do some stuff to get money
To
or
help
get
himself
gifts
out,
or
yeah.
whatever and help himself out. But again, in my head, that's not going to help you in any way because you're just resetting back to the way that you were the day before. So it's not like you're gaining anything out of that. To me,
Yeah.
I would probably have fun with it. Just do stupid shit.
Well, I see, and I don't know what I'd do either, but what Phil does is he gets to know Nancy so that he can get laid tomorrow.
Right.
Okay. It worked. He, I guess, goes back to her place where she's got one of those little fake fireplaces
Yeah.
where the logs are plastic. We had one at our old house
Yeah.
where behind the fake logs is a spinning wheel
Yeah.
with a light bulb inside, and that spinning wheel gave it the effect of flickering flames.
Flickering flames. Yeah.
Yeah, very weird. But this woman clearly has no self-esteem or respect for herself.
Clearly.
Because she meets him the second time outside where the Groundhog is in
Yeah.
Gobbler's Knoll. And he totally convinces her that he's this guy from school, what he looked like, that he asked her out to prom. And she's like, yeah. And then sleeps with him that night.
Yeah. No self-esteem.
Like, seriously, woman?
Or the memory of a freaking gnat.
So weird. So, and now in this new day, we see that he's robbing the armored truck. And clearly there's been enough days leading up that he's timed everything out. He's not only timed it, but he's memorized the timing. So he's not even reading it off a piece of paper.
Yeah.
He knows.
See, and that's where like a lot of the stuff that he's doing, like we were just saying, you were talking about how he, day 2, he remembered everything. Maybe he has somewhat of a photographic memory because he remembers it. He didn't have to write it down. Or he relived it so many times
Yeah.
that it's now second nature.
So, yeah, so he's probably sat outside that armored truck so many days that he's got it down packed, which you said you can't take any money with you. But hypothetically, if he robbed the armored truck on his last day at the end of the movie, he'd still have that money.
True. But how do
So
you know
he would have to be consistent robbing the truck every day, always assuming today could be the last day.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. But again, how do you know what, like, you're going to keep reliving it every day? Like, that's going to get boring and monotonous
And
too, right?
that's my thing. So 34 years, 10,000 years, even 10 years, you're doing the same day over and over again. I don't know if I could do the same day more than 30 times.
I don't even know if I could do it more than 3 times.
Like, I'd run out of things to do.
Yeah.
We're going to get to it on what he does, but
Yeah.
man, it's just, I don't know how he does it. Anyways, there's a movie theater that he goes to, and he takes Nancy. And so the movie playing is called Heidi 2. He's dressed as a cowboy. She's dressed as a maid. There's no theme, obviously, because there's no way Heidi 2 is a cowboy film. So I looked it up. It's not a real movie. There is a Heidi 2, but let's just say it wouldn't have been in a theater. It's
Right.
like a barely legal series.
All right.
So yeah, it was weird. It's weird. I didn't get it. And then he says to her that he's seen this film 100 times. So, okay, now we have an idea. He's been in this life for at least 100 days at this point, at least a guesstimate. It could be far more, but he's only gone to the movie theater 100 times. But minimum, we're at 100 right now. We see that, he's not planning on leaving this town anymore. He's come to grips with it at this point. He sabotages the news van so that they can't go anywhere.
Yep.
Now, why would he sabotage it? He knows even if they tried, they're turning back around.
Yeah.
But is it just the fact that it's a waste of time driving to turn around and come back? Because he's got nothing but time.
Well, he's got nothing but time, but you got to remember too, if he's done it, now we're at this point, he said he's seen that movie 100 times, then that means he's done that same drive more than 100 times. So
Right.
at this point, he's like, I don't want to do that drive again because it is a waste of time. I know what's going to happen. I'd rather waste my time on something else.
So then, let's say it's 10 years. We're saying then that sabotaging that van for 9.5 years
Yeah. Yeah.
moving forward so he doesn't do that drive.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
It's weird, but again, you got to remember, like, that's how long is that drive? Let's say 2 hours.
Ah,
2 hours there, 2 hours back. So that's 4 hours of time that he could be doing something else. 'Cause you gotta
Nancy.
remember, at this point right now, he's trying to have fun with the time, minus the other things that he's done in this. Again, seek help if you guys need to talk to somebody. We're here for you. But like, he's wanting to use that time to do things that are fun for him,
Yeah, makes sense.
right? So why would you waste 4 hours driving when you could be, again, with Nancy or with other girls or robbing a freaking truck, like doing those things?
Yeah. He starts spending some time wooing Rita.
Right.
He's memorized some French poetry, or actually the whole, all of French, I guess, because she's very impressed that he speaks it. Out later in the evening, they get into that snowball fight, which I get it. We see the snowball fight for the first time, but maybe that's not his first time. It seems very rushed. He seems very over the top doing this, more so the next time we see the snowball fight, because he doesn't even let the kids throw the snowballs. He just starts going into it. He throws her on the ground. He tries to snuggle up to her. Like, he's trying to speed the date up significantly at that point. He goes in for a kiss. Doesn't happen. At the end of the night, he expresses that he loves her. And this is a big problem for Rita because he's still a dink to her. It's only been a few hours. There's no way you love me. So she dumps him. He strikes out over and over again.
How many times do you think she slapped him in the face?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Because she slapped him in the face. And that was like, even in that scene, that seemed pretty hard of slap, right? How many times do you think he lived that moment before she gave up?
I would have to say quite a few, because after that sequence of slaps, you see the next morning that he's super depressed. So he's clearly like given up all hope. He's starting to hate his life again.
Yeah. But it's also because he wanted Rita to love him back. That's why, right? So like,
and he tried so many things.
So many times, and he didn't want to relive that over and over and over again anymore, right? So like, now the gift that he's had of doing all these fun things or doing all the things that he wants to do is now becoming, let's say, a torture to him, because now he's trying to be with her, but it's one day. How do you make somebody fall in love with you in like one day?
He does it, but yeah. So okay. These next few resets, we see he's in a really bad mood. Finally going to Gobbler's Knob and groundhog napping the groundhog. It's funny because he walks up, the guy in the suit says, "Hi there." And then Phil hops in the driver's seat. What does the guy do? He doesn't open the passenger seat to try to stop him or rescue the groundhog. He walks all the way around, but now it's too late, dude. Your keys are in there. He's already in. Go. So, hot pursuit. The mayor and that guy chase him down. The police are coming. He lets the groundhog drive, which is a funny scene. And always shown in commercials, in the trailer. That's always a scene that's shown. I read that he was actually bit twice by this groundhog.
Just gonna say, I have notes that I have on the side here that...
You have notes?
I do. I actually have notes.
Son of a bitch.
He actually got bit twice, and he had to receive rabies shots after it.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah. Although he's already always in a cranky mood. Can you imagine what Bill Murray was like after getting bit twice and getting a rabies shot?
Yeah.
God. So yeah, the chase is fairly good. He drives them both off that cliff, and I laugh so hard every time where Larry and Rita are at the top and they're looking down because he had just crashed. And Larry's like, he might be okay.
As it pulls out.
Well, maybe not now. Very, very observant there, Larry.
Yeah. Good job, Larry. You're doing a great job.
The next loop is the toaster scene. He walks down in his PJs, he grabs a toaster that still has bread in it, takes it to the bathtub. Okay, jump to the next loop. Now he's skydiving
Yeah.
off of that building. So, okay, he's had enough. He's
Yeah.
trying everything he can to end this. The next scene is a great scene. I love this scene. It's the one where him and Rita are in the diner, and he starts explaining the truth to her, comparing himself to God, which she doesn't like. But he starts naming everybody, explaining who they all are. He starts saying, I've been stabbed, shot, poisoned, burned. So way more than we saw. He's gone through quite a bit, and probably numerous times of each. She I don't want to say falls for it, but she
Well-
believes it after this whole demonstration of, the dishes breaking and everything. What if you were in her shoes, what would you think?
I would think he's crazy.
Yeah. Even though he knows everybody.
Even though he knows everybody, I would still think he's crazy and possibly send him to the loony bin at that point, right? Just
Now-
because you know people's names doesn't mean anything. You got to remember too, it's a small town, right? Everybody knows everybody. So at one point he may have been introduced to all of those people, right? So for him to know the names, that's not a great trick at that point. It's just that you know these people's names, right?
Okay.
So
So anyway, she believes him, or at least starts to believe it. They end up going back to his place, the Airbnb, and they're playing that card game where they're throwing it,
yep.
right? And she's saying how bad she is, and he says, you know what, 6 months tops, and you can figure this out. Possibly because it took him 6 months
Yeah.
to be good at it. But she stays. She thinks he's going to reset at midnight. Doesn't happen. So we get a little funny scene there. But she stayed with him all day. And if you love her and you want to be with her, then tomorrow explain the whole thing again and get to spend the time with her again. But he doesn't. He gives up explaining it to her. I don't know. I don't know why. But we do see that he is genuinely falling in love with her as they're laying in bed there. 6 a.m., same song, same DJs. This time now, he decides to use his power for good instead of evil. So let's say it's been 10 years with the realization of now doing good things. How far in the 10 years do you think he is?
I'd like to say 5 years in, but I'm going to say probably longer, probably 7 years, 7, 8 years.
I guessed 5 too.
Yeah.
I guess it probably would take about 5 years for him to get his head out of his ass. So now the next day we see him going for piano lessons at that house. He gives the instructor $1,000 to start right now. So she boots that kid right out quick. The next day he has another lesson, another $1,000. So I have to assume he's still robbing that truck every day.
I would have to assume you're probably right.
I think that's still in his plans every day. Which, okay, that's fine. We also see him doing the ice sculpting now. There's been no hint at him learning how to ice sculpt, unlike the piano. So are we to assume that he was learning piano and learning ice sculpting at the same time? Or maybe he had already learned how to ice sculpt and now he's trying to learn piano since he's mastered that?
Now, if we go based on the 10-year theory, he would have to be doing it at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
If we're going based on what fans' theory was, the 34 years, it would be he learned piano first, he learned ice sculpting second, he learned French third, like he did one after the other.
Right.
Because then that would make sense.
With the 10-year one, it's just if he's doing sculpting and piano at the same time, when does he have time to woo Rita, to learn the names of all these people and their backstories? You got
to remember though too that we're already at the 5-year mark. Like we both said, the theory was 5 year. We're at 5 years now, so he's already learned all their names. He's already done a lot of this stuff before he started learning piano and French and ice sculpting, or while he was learning those names, maybe he was learning ice sculpting at that point.
Yeah,
or
it could be.
Yeah. So, but if it's a 10-year mark, he has to be doing them back.
Okay. All right. The next scene is the scene. This one hits me right in the feels, and I'm sure it does for you too. It's where we see him helping the old man.
Old man
ends up dying in the alley, takes him to the hospital.
Yep.
And Phil, he exclaims, I want to see the chart. And he storms off looking for the chart. Now, why else would he want to look at the chart unless he was already well versed in medical? So again, at this point, he's learnt enough where he can decipher a chart and try to diagnose this guy. The next day, we see he takes the old man to the diner and he's filling him up with food, and that old man is so happy. And it was such a great scene, but he dies again. I can't avoid it. The next time at the Knob, we'll call it, everyone's all crowded around Phil. He's doing
Yeah.
his news thing,
Yeah.
and then other news people are putting mics on him. Like, what? Like, the Knob takes place right after he leaves the Airbnb. He comes straight over there to do the broadcast.
Yeah.
So it's early in the day. Every other day, we've seen all the news people doing their own things. Why? Why? What today did Phil say, hey, everybody, camera's on me? Like, what was the purpose of everybody focusing on Phil? We're here for the damn Groundhog. So I just didn't understand. Like, he made a beautiful speech and everybody applauded. Tears were shed. But what convinced people to
I think
focus
he
on
went and told everybody beforehand, before that happened, to say,
that? What? He's going to make, I'm the weatherman from Channel 9 and I'm going to do a speech? I would have been like, yeah, I don't care.
I guess it's true. But again, movie magic.
Yeah, I know. Movie magic. Only magic I like is Harry Potter. Okay, so now he starts running what I call hero errands. He's walking down the street, catches that kid falling from the tree, complains that the kid has never said thank you, but he's not in the loop. He doesn't know. He's going to continue not saying thank you. He helps the old ladies with the flat. He saves the mayor's life. All heroic things, helping people. But there's the one thing he does at the end of all of those. As he's leaving the restaurant, he stops and lights that lady's cigarette. What a hero. Back in the day, that was a big move.
That was a compliment move, yes.
Yeah, a woman with a cigarette and you beat her to it and light her smoke for her.
Yeah.
You were a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not anymore. Not anymore. No.
You don't have a lot of people who are smoking now. Now they're using vapes.
Next scene, we see Larry is on a date with Nancy, the chipmunk girl. And they're at the bar. They decide to go to the party, and Larry takes this money and he puts this tip down, and they get up. And as soon as she turns around, he grabs some of it back.
That is something, not gonna lie. And I'm pretty sure you would do that, and so would I.
I don't know. I don't know if I would do it. I just don't even remember the last time I tipped in cash.
This is true.
It's always just a button
The
now.
button.
So I don't know. It was hilarious though. But Phil's in the party already and he's playing the piano and he's amazing at it. So we've already discussed how long it would take to do that. He comes down, Rita's surprised, didn't know you played the piano, blah, 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 blah. Everybody starts coming over. Thanks for saving my husband's life. And, he's got a fancy joke or a funny joke about the steak. And the old ladies come by and thank him for the help. And the one lady says he's the fastest jack in town. It seemed sexual.
It did. It did.
I get it. She's 90. And she didn't mean it that way. But even the other old lady she's dancing with gave her a glare. Now, I don't know if it was because she also took it sexually. But I was
the way
like,
that it was
what was
said,
that
it sounded
taste?
very sexual.
Yeah. And then the married couple, the newlywed couple comes over.
Yep.
Okay, so this is very interesting, and I'm sure you'll like this. So he gives them the WrestleMania tickets, and they're so excited. So there's the kisses and the fact that the newlywed bride is jealous of them. I did a search. I was curious. What WrestleMania is this?
1993 would have been WrestleMania.
So I looked. It was the movie is set in February, obviously, Groundhog Day, 93. Yeah. This was WrestleMania 9. It was in April, so the following month. So they had a month to go see it. WrestleMania 9, I looked up who the main events were. So it was Yokozuna versus Bret Hart for the championship.
Yeah.
Hogan had just returned because he left after WrestleMania 8.
Yeah.
He teamed up with Brutus for a tag team championship match versus Money Inc., which was Ted DiBiase and Irwin. The good guys lost, though. Ted DiBiase's team won. I thought that was great because that's when I watched wrestling. I loved that era of wrestling.
I still watch it, but yeah, that was the greatest era.
I would love to get back into it because, side note, and I don't know if we've talked about this, but I stopped watching when WCW and WWF merged.
Yeah.
Because I despised the wrestling side of it. Like the Sting and even, what's that guy's name again? Thank you. Despised them. And the fact that they were coming over was like,
It was like a slap in the face.
yeah,
Because
I hated it.
for me, it
Get
was
out
like
of my house.
back in that era, I never watched WCW. It was always WWE. WWE had the better storyline, had the better characters, had the
Well,
better.
it was always WWF. That's
Sorry,
the other thing.
it's WWF, but they had to get rid of that because of the World Wildlife Foundation. So
I know, but I still know it as that.
yeah,
And I hate when they talk about the WWE in the 80s and 90s.
in the 80s and 90s.
Because have some respect, man. It wasn't WWE at the time.
it was
Call it what it was named at the time.
yeah,
But whatever. I see why they do it.
yeah.
But anyways,
Anyways,
that was a side point.
off topic.
We're almost wrapped up the movie here now.
Yep.
They have that auction for the dudes.
Yep.
And it's a huge hit for Phil. Rita actually buys him. I was not so much of a hit for Larry.
Yeah.
Now, Larry in that sweater, he looked jacked. He looked like he had a huge upper body, like a thin waist, like he hits the gym. Like, I'm not sure, he's a dork, but I'm not sure why he didn't get more money. It's part of the story, I guess. But so Phil and Rita hit it off on their date. She ends up spending the night again, and now it's 6 a.m. again, and that song plays again. Here we are. It's another loop. Or is it? The DJs start talking about how they hate that song.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see a female arm reach over and shut off the radio. And Phil's just as shocked as the viewers are. Rita is still there. The day didn't reset. He's free. We get a little banter between them about her still being there. He gets all frisky. And then it pans away and we see it's 6:01. It's not 6 anymore. Now it's signalizing that we've moved on.
Yeah.
Time is moving. He looks out the window again, and there's nobody out there. Now I get it. This time I get it. It is definitely different than before when there were cars and people.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you can acknowledge that something's different. They leave the Airbnb, they come out, they have this big kiss, and credits start rolling. That is the end of Groundhog Day.
You did miss one part though.
Oh, one part that you have on your notes?
Yeah, that
What do you got?
when Phil actually finally talks to Ned and buys his insurance from him.
Oh, yeah. See, Ned was really driving me nuts.
He was, but that was like a pinnacle
so
point.
done with
Like him and Ned actually kind of had a decent conversation, and he's like, you know what, I'll buy your insurance. And he bought the insurance. That was one part you missed. It plays a key role in the movie.
He buys all the insurance.
Because the whole point of that last day was that he resolved all the issues that he had with everybody, including Ned, right? And then he got Rita to finally fall in love with him. That's why that's my theory, is that he finally did everything that he needed to do and resolve everything he needed to resolve for the day to go to from February 2nd to February 3rd.
Okay. I get it.
So that was like a key point that you missed.
Yeah.
I finally got one.
Yay. Good thing you had notes this time.
Yep, I did.
So what are you
Big notes.
ranking the movie or rating it?
I don't remember from our pre-watch what I rated it, but I'm still I'm gonna rate it an 8 out of 10. Yes, there's some annoyances because of the same song that plays over and over and over again, and then similar scenes over and over again, but it goes through the whole process of, in my view, what my mind would do, what I would do, kind of, sort of. Like there's certain things that obviously I wouldn't do, but again, I don't know that unless it actually happens. But like it's going through those same steps, right? Of what you're gonna do. It takes a comedy, it takes a romance, dark side, light side. It does everything and puts it all into one. So it's a great movie. Doesn't matter if you watch it on Groundhog Day. Doesn't matter if you watch it on Halloween, Christmas, New Year's, March, April, May, June. Doesn't matter. It's a movie that you could watch at any time. Now, would our kids enjoy it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? But it's...
Have yours watched it?
No.
Oh, mine have.
Have they? And did they like it?
It is a bit of adult humor.
Yeah.
So they sat through it. They didn't fall asleep. So that's a plus.
Did they have their phones?
No, I don't allow phones during movie time.
Okay.
No, that's not my thing. It's you're focusing, whether you like it or not, you're focusing, you're paying attention. At some point in time, somebody might say, hey, have you ever heard of this movie? And you can say, yeah, my dad made me watch it like 30 years ago. You're welcome.
Yeah, so it is a good movie. What would you rate it?
I think in the pre-watch,
Yep.
I gave it an 8 as well. I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, call it 8. No point, no anything, just an 8.
Would you have replaced Bill Murray for somebody else?
Now, I did read that they were looking at Tom Hanks first, but Tom Hanks was too nice of a guy to play that dickish role that Bill Murray does so well.
That makes sense.
So, no, I think I'm fine with Bill Murray doing it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they rebooted it now, if anybody else could do as good of a role. I can't think of anybody.
Don't say
That's
that.
the
I don't want
problem with
anybody rebooting any of the
Well,
nostalgia
the
movies.
and the problem with it is I can't think of memorable actors now. But 80s and 90s, even the 70s, I can name a few memorable actors.
I guess.
Now,
Yeah, that's true.
granted, maybe that's because my life was more of that
Right.
than this. I don't know. But I don't know. I just don't see the caliber of actors out anymore. Unless they're the old ones that are still not retired.
Right. Right. You're kind of right. There's not the same caliber as there was back in the 70s, 80s. There's still lots of good actors, just not.
Sure. Yeah. But like even like one of the biggest names I'm thinking of right now from like the modern era, we'll call it,
Yeah.
John Cena.
John Cena.
Like, and that's John Cena.
There's John Cena, then there's The Rock. Like
Well, see,
those are the two big ones. And again, they were in WWE and WWF, right?
right, but at least The Rock, I would classify him early 2000s because he had great movies like The Rundown,
Right. Right.
even The Tooth Fairy when he did some comedy.
God, that
I
was
enjoyed
horrible.
that. I enjoyed it. But we're not talking about those.
No.
We've given our ratings on this one. We've got another pre-watch coming up next week. We hope you guys all
Yes, we
tune
do.
in. We've got
Everybody
a list
just
of
like-
movies. Yeah.
Yep.
We've got a list of
Like,
movies
share,
that
follow.
we're planning already. So please do like, share, follow. We've got a special announcement coming up in a little while too.
Yep.
We're going to also do some guests to sit here with us and maybe break up the stupidity that is us with something intellectual. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
All right, guys. Well, I'm Alex.
I'm Roma. You guys have a good night.
See you next time.
Later.